So I need to do my category titles, and I also want to stay organized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these titles right here and keep it for my actual title. So I've got my name and my favorite things, and I've got a background. Maybe I'll choose something else. This one looks pretty colorful. I like it. So let's do that. So if this is the My Favorite Things title, this is the name, and then this is the background that I'm going to use for my intro. I'm going to rename this BG19 Intro. So I know the three things that should be together, and I have a lot of other things in here. So I'm going to use a folder here. So next to the create a new layer, I can create a new group, and I can name that group Intro. And then I can move these inside it. So I'm going to take this one and my name and put them in this group, which looks like a little folder. I can collapse that now, and this whole intro can be brought up whenever I need it. And if I want to edit something inside, I can certainly do that. If I want to change out the background, pretty easy to do. I can put this in there instead, but being able to switch off the entire set. And now I'm going to make a new category. So I'm just going to recycle this. It'll be easier if I have a background here. So let me find a background that I can use with animals. And let me go in and edit this. So I'm going to Control A, select it all instead of trying to drag. Type animals. And now I want to make this bigger. So I can change my font size here a little at a time. Let me go to 200. Since it's not selected, let me do that again. Try 200. Maybe a little more, 220. Just try and make it as big as you can go. I don't like clicking and dragging on corners. I like to have very precise control over my font size. Now it's okay to move this to the center. And now I've got my animals intro, my category for animals. So let's put those two together in my category for animals. So, oops, wrong one. New group. I can put animals in there and this background. And wait, where did my text go? It's all about the order. So just drag the text above the other one. We'll call this animals. And that way I can turn the whole thing on and off. So I can say, that's my animals category. This is my intro. Oops, this is my intro, and so on. So I do have one more of these that I had already made. I'll go ahead and call this places. Let me find a background that can go with it. Something that contrasts a bit. Places. Once again, Control A, and there's two different places for font size. Let me try 250. You can see I have trouble with this too sometimes. Maybe even 300. Every font's going to be a little bit different. You need it to be big enough to really be in your face kind of thing. And when you do that font size change, you may need to go in and adjust things like the outer glow. The outer glow doesn't seem to be quite as big as it used to be because the font is bigger. So we have more pixels. So we might need to spread and size this up a little bit more, as long as it's still legible. So that green really separates it from the background. Once you've decided on those two things, then you can make your group. I believe I can actually select both of those layers by holding down Control. They're both selected, and then I can make a group out of them called places. So there you go. Both of those. It's possible to rename this if you want to, like I did with my intro. But now I can easily say I want animals and places, my intro, and then I've got food to go. I don't have to reinvent the wheel here. I can turn this on. Let's duplicate this layer. So it's inside of my group there. I'm just going to move it to the very top, outside of the group, and call this food. Now, why would I do that? Well, it's pretty easy to go in, change the font, change the color, and just make it look completely different very, very easily. I'm going to type food. I still have my places turned on here. Pick a different background, and then change the font. Now it's going to need to be much bigger. It's a shorter word, so 600 for a font size makes that plenty big, but we don't want it to look exactly the same, not when it's as easy as double-clicking on the effects and changing out the color, changing the outer glow. Maybe something nice and dark, if not black. Maybe increase the size and the spread a little bit. Really make it stand out. Now that is the background that I just picked at random, but even though it's similar colors, I can read that very, very easily. So this one, control clicking will select more than one thing at a time. New group, rename it food, and now it's extremely easy for me to make my intro show up, my places, my animals, and my food. My 3 categories are done.